At the end of 2019, we began using the AA app to notify customers if their flight is oversold and provide them with the option to volunteer to reschedule their ticket in exchange for a travel voucher. He explains, "We want people to rely on the app to rebook their flights and handle any other needs they have with us." This shows how Amazon wants to expand in the future. And who thought Amazon, a book-selling company, would become so big so soon? In this video, we are going to talk about it, and we will discuss how Amazon got so big during the pandemic when many other businesses failed. Hello my people, before we start with the episode today, make sure you are subscribed to our channel and drop a like. People and businesses have become more reliant on technology in practically every aspect of life over the last year, including the tools we use to work, learn, and play, how we purchase and communicate, and how corporations function and sell their products. Despite one of the most severe economic downturns on record, spending on computers, video games, online retail, cloud computing services, and digital advertising increased. As a result, some of the world's top corporations and their stock prices have experienced dizzying expansion. At a time when airlines and brick-and-mortar stores were struggling, total sales for the 5 largest U.S. internet companies, Apple Incorporated, AAPL 2.14%, Microsoft Corp., Amazon.com Incorporated, AMZN 2.07%, Google parent Alphabet Incorporated, and Facebook increased by a fifth to $1.1 trillion. Their total earnings increased by an even quicker 24%. Their aggregate market capitalization has increased by 50% in the last year to a mind-boggling $8 trillion. Their economic clout grew in other ways too, including employment. Amazon alone hired 500,000 additional employees in a single year, approximately equivalent to Atlanta's whole population. Legislators and regulators may discover methods to rein them in, but the economic and sociological factors propelling big tech to even greater heights appear to outlast COVID-19. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has stated that he expects technology spending will more than double to 10% of GDP from its present level of 5%. He said this month that he now expects it to happen much faster. Prior to the COVID-19 epidemic, small businesses and merchants were already struggling to compete with e-commerce corporations that could offer low costs and quick deliveries. Convenience reigned supreme. When COVID-19 caused physical stores to close and consumers to stay at home, online retailers, particularly Amazon, seized the opportunity. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' net fortune has skyrocketed. According to USA Today, Bezos' net worth was $113 billion in March 2020. As of November, the 56-year-old CEO was worth more than $203 billion. Bezos' personal wealth has climbed by $90.1 billion since March 2020, making him approximately 80% richer, 79.8%, than he was before the outbreak. Amazon. Consumers shifted rapidly to e-commerce as a result of the pandemic, and few benefited more than Amazon. Last year, the company's revenue increased 38% to $386.1 billion. Amazon went on a recruiting binge, adding around 500,000 people to meet the increase in demand. It now employs 1.3 million people worldwide, and if the current hiring rate continues, Amazon could replace Walmart Incorporated as the largest employer in the United States in the coming years. Google, the advertising behemoth, powered through the epidemic as more people spent time online and moved their expenditure to digital channels as a result of the health catastrophe. The Alphabet segment suffered in the first half of 2020 as advertisers slowed spending during the epidemic, but the business recovered later in the year. For years, the namesake search engine has been the advertising breadwinner, but the business has stated that ad expenditure on YouTube is increasing rapidly. Prior to the epidemic, Facebook was already a social networking behemoth, but its swath of services, including Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger, continued to accrue members globally through 2020 as individuals spent more time online as stay-at-home orders grounded in in-person activities. To capitalize on the e-commerce boom, the business has been bringing new features such as shopping into Instagram and strengthening the linkages between its platforms to help it compete with tech rivals. The modifications are also intended to make it difficult to discontinue its products. Amazon's profits have skyrocketed since the outbreak began. The International Technology Corporation announced a 70% increase in earnings in the first 9 months of 2020, up $5.8 billion over the same period last year. According to a New York Times story, Amazon reported a nearly 200% increase in revenues, aided by much of North America's rapid migration to entirely online purchasing. Amazon sales were $96.1 billion, up 37% from the previous year, with earnings reaching a mind-boggling $6.3 billion. The pandemic has enhanced not only the company's profitability, but also its growth. Amazon plans to increase its fulfillment infrastructure by 50% by 2020, employing more than 250,000 people in the process. Amazon now employs more than 1 million people worldwide for the first time in the company's history. As businesses around the world shifted to cloud computing and entirely remote work, Amazon Web Services' already lucrative division expanded 29% in 2020, accounting for 12% of the company's overall revenue. Keep in mind that the company's exponential expansion occurred before the busiest season of the year, holiday shopping. Amazon predicted that fourth quarter sales could surpass $121 billion as online spending increases in December. According to S&P Global Market Intelligence, Amazon's revenue is predicted to be $119.45 billion, a 37% rise over the $87.44 billion reported in the fourth quarter of 2019. Throughout the pandemic, Amazon spent 120%, $25.3 billion, more on expanding warehouses, researching technology, and other capital investments. Except for the company's main competitors, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, and so on. The spending and earnings make it exceedingly difficult to keep up with its expansion. Amazon sold nearly $100 billion in merchandise in the third quarter, as millions of individuals become almost completely reliant on the e-commerce behemoth. Amazon's ad revenue climbed by 51% as a result of the company's increased online engagement. Amazon's year-over-year revenues jumped 40% in the second quarter of 2020. The corporation announced quarterly revenues of $96.15 billion in Q3, higher than expected, and net income of $6.3 billion, up from $2.3 billion the previous year. Analysts predict that Amazon's overall revenue for 2020 would rise 35% from $280.52 billion in 2019 to $379.87 billion. The e-commerce business expects to lose $4 billion in COVID-19 related charges in the second quarter. Former Amazon executive James Thompson predicts that the whole shipping business, including Amazon, will face constraints. The entire logistics infrastructure has just not evolved fast enough to keep up with demand, he explained via S&P Global Market Intelligence. At the end of the day, there are only so many parcels that can be pushed down the pipe. Despite this, Thompson stated that Amazon is better positioned than anyone else to beat its earnings, owing to its ability to ensure speedy delivery for last-minute orders in the 2 weeks coming up to Christmas Day. Other firms cannot promise that ground-delivered deliveries will arrive on Christmas Eve or day after being dispatched after December 15. Amazon can. Customers can purchase products on December 20 and have them delivered to their selected giftee by Christmas. In a world where people are doing their best to avoid one another, even during the holidays, when small businesses are shuttered, malls are operating at reduced capacity, and the planet is a hotspot for COVID-19 transmission, the world may need Amazon more than ever. That's a frightening concept for small businesses, but it's music to Jeff Bezos' ears. Thank you for watching. With this, we end our episode. Take care and get well soon. Thank you for watching. With this, we end our episode. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel if you like more content like this. We will see you in the next one.